PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Hello, and welcome to PCN, Local Stories from the South Shore. I'm Julie Thompson, and today I am with Maureen Bates. This week, we take you to a veterans concert in Plymouth, a wine and food festival event in Duxbury, and a memorial dedication in Kingston.
PCN meets up with the founder of Walking Home, a cross-country adventure from a Plymouth resident. And we head to the Kingston Collection, where the United Way had a kickoff event for their Day of Caring program.
Pet Health is from Duxbury Animal Hospital, and Town Talk brings Pembroke's Town Administrator to our set.
State House Report brings us to Boston for information on water from State Representative Josh Cutler. We begin tonight at a potluck dinner in Cedarville. We have been following a very unique story from a Plymouth resident. Frank Mann has spirited several community projects over the years, including seeing 365 sunrises in Plymouth, and the beginning of the Community program, where nonprofits decorate ornaments for the town holiday tree. Frank's latest endeavor is called Walking Home. He plans to walk from California to Plymouth and meet people along the way who will talk about what home means to them. This month, Frank held a practice run, or walk, walking up to 10 miles each day, which ended with a community potluck dinner at a supporter's house. PCN met up with Frank at one of these dinners.
Doing a test run this week, walking all around Plymouth as part of Walking Home, a big project I have where I'm going to walk across the country for a variety of reasons, most especially to benefit the task force to end homelessness in town, hopefully build a special permanent shelter, but a lot of other motivating reasons. And so this week I've been staying at different properties, sleeping on their lawns in my tent. People have been having potluck suppers for me so I can explain to them what I'm up to, what's it about, and why hopefully they can support me.
This week of trying it out and exploring it, he asked a number of people if they would host him, let him spend the night in their yards as kind of a trial run and a way to generate support, not just for himself for this walk, but also for the Homeless Coalition. Most people don't know this. Frank is on the board of the Coalition for the Homeless, and homelessness is something that he really obviously cares about a great deal. He even spends nights in shelters sleeping with people.
It's called Walking Home, and I'm going from the West Coast home. I have 2 years to do this. I'm leaving November of 2018 from the West Coast. I've really been inspired to do what I'm going to do by not anything negative, not any really fear or concern, but more out of how much love I feel in this community, how much engagement I feel in the community. I only plan to walk 10 miles a day on my actual project because I'm going to do it in an entire year. I'm going to spend 365 days meandering across the country, talking about Plymouth and talking about a lot of other issues. You know, I think you always see things when you walk. I don't think normally any of us walk any place. Maybe we walk around our office or up the stairs, or we choose to go down to the water or, you know, to the corner store. But to truly walk and get into that pace, that slowness, you begin to see so many things. You know, you see beauty you don't see. You know, sometimes when you're rushing places, maybe you see the things that don't seem to fit in, or you see the pavement, or you see the developments. But when you walk up Old State Road, you kind of see the old Plymouth, the old Manomet, and you start realizing that this area was basically considered part of Cape Cod, and it had that same charm. And I think everybody should you know, put their car someplace and walk around the place they live for a day or so, even if they don't do the extreme of what I'm doing, just to start to get a feel and a sense of what real qualities and values and exist out there. And so I just was thinking to myself today that everywhere I go, people will say, "Where are you going?" I'm going to say, "I'm walking home."
He's walking home. This man is just incredible, and every town should have a Frank Mand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that he's walking home and he's talking about homelessness and seeing the country and spreading his word is just, there aren't any words for this guy. He's just amazing.
Right, it's really incredible, and I can't help, and I don't mean to make light of his serious subject, but he just reminds me of, Forrest Gump. He just felt like walking,
Yes, yes.
But like in that movie, it just creates this movement, and like, what is he doing? It's so novel,
yes,
and so interesting that I feel like people are just gonna gravitate towards the novelty of it, and I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
Right, and I love how he's going to take 365 days to do it. He's going to take a year, 10 miles a day, and countless thousands of people he will meet and lives he will touch.
Right, right.
Great man, great story. Memorial Hall held a concert to raise funds for the Nathan Hale Veterans Outreach Center. PCN stopped in to get the story and check out all the excitement.
Tonight we're doing a concert that's we're trying to raise funds for the Nathan Hale Veterans Outreach Center. What we do is we provide services for veterans in 10 towns in the South Shore. We provide food pantry, free clothing, transportation needs to all the VAs, and we bring them to their doctor's appointments. I'm involved in a lot of veterans organizations. I myself am not a veteran, but I've seen what happened to the Vietnam veterans, how they were mistreated, and it's always been something with me. I got to be able to make it better, so I've devoted my life to helping veterans wherever I can. It'll benefit the community, especially the veterans in the South Shore. There's needs. What happens to these guys when they come home, especially the newer ones now, they have no direction. They've gone from high school to war. They come home, and that's when the problems start with PTSD, alcoholism, drug addiction. They have no direction. We're trying to help provide that direction for them. Well, there's members of the Jay Giles Band, members of Forecat, the Yardbirds, the list goes on and on. It's the Beaver Brown, John Cappy, the Beaver Brown Band. It just goes on. It's going to be a great show. I've been listening to them warm up all day, and it's really a show to see.
We're doing a concert here tonight to raise some funds to help us raise some money for our new wellness center that we're trying to erect right now. Hopefully we can raise some money. This event means a lot to me personally. To see as many people in Plymouth to come forward and support our veterans, it's great. Well, this event would benefit the whole community, especially our veterans, because we'll be able to raise money to have our audiology here closer to Plymouth as opposed to traveling to Boston. And it would mean a lot to the whole community.
We'd ask people to come to the concert tonight so that they can support the free programs that we provide our veterans in Plymouth County. This event is going to help us provide free services for our veterans. And, for example, down on our farm, we'll be able to buy some seeds and some things that will help us support our farm.
Anytime you see a veteran, thank the veteran for his service. I've done a lot of work with guys that are even World War II veterans that are now in their 90s, and I've had some say, this is the first time anybody thanked me, so we have our freedoms because of them. So.
The Duxbury Food and Wine Festival isn't just all adults sitting around sampling wines and eating exotic foods. It's actually an educational endeavor with several segments to it. One of those segments is the Farm Day, and that's where kids and parents alike get a chance to see where much of their food comes from while hopefully gaining a new perspective on the importance of local organic farming. The Farm Day was held at the O'Neill Farm in Duxbury, where over the weekend we stopped by.
We started with the idea of promoting the idea of organics and food items that people don't think of typically as when they're shopping, that may be more locally grown and such. And so the Farm Day event that was already going on was a natural attraction to try to team up with and promote an event that we had. It was called Food for Thought a couple of years ago. And last year was our first year with Farm Day. This year is our second, and it's a nice promotion of the farms that are still existing, what they're doing, how they still promote good organic growing and food for people who are more conscious of what they're eating. Well, it's a opportunity for people to see demonstrations of things going on, such as milking of cows, actual live chickens that many kids don't ever get a chance to see, the goatscaping, which is fascinating to many people, adults and children. And then there's the vendors that are local to us from the area. They very much promote foods from the area a lot of the times, but sometimes it's just they're at the farmers market over in Marshfield many times on weekdays, and then they come out to these kind of events and just make it possible for people to have something to eat, as well as promote their food type. Places like Hornster Farms or Cabot Cheese, they're all involved regularly and support the farming movement. And those are the types of things you could see here as far as food and vendors. A lot of effort goes into farming. It's not such an easy thing, and the food that you get at the store, many times it's coming from very large production locations. So when you see something small like this, you get an idea of the idea that there is still a movement for homegrown items and organic foods, and once in a while in certain towns you're going to find a real live farm still, which is almost hard to find these days. So it's good to promote that idea in young children especially, so that they see where their food comes from. And I think it's just fun for kids to see the live animals and to be a part of a day like this. So
the kids will remember this probably all their lives, but the parents will remember things that they learned about farming, about milk, and about products that they never knew. And it'll give them a better opportunity to judge how they want to feed their families. Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about the Duxbury Food and Wine Festival because I'm actually going to the Oktoberfest this Friday. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you know anything about the wine festival, but it's several events over 2 weeks, and they do like a grand tasting, and they do all these different events, and it's all they're all like community sort of events, and it brings people together. And the Oktoberfest I'm going to, they're going to do it in the traditional German style with the long tables and the craft beers, and it's really a surprise for my sister, but yeah, I love it. And all the people involved, we've worked with them year after year. They just love the community,
right?
And I think that's why they do it. And there's such a pleasure setting up these shoots, because they're like, oh, you have to talk to this person because they're so excited about this. And I'm very excited, and I think it's a wonderful thing they do in Duxbury. And you don't have to go to Nantucket, you don't have to go to Boston, and it's right here in our community. And it's just a great event, I think, all around. And
our communities have a lot of these, all of our towns do, and it's getting more and more popular, and it's great. It really is.
It's wonderful.
Well, have fun, Maureen.
Thank you.
When Joe Chaves passed away suddenly, the town of Kingston thought it only proper to dedicate a special place in his memory for all of the work he did for the community. A tree was planted in his honor, and a rock with his name was unveiled at the Kingston Middle School. We dropped by for the ceremony.
This is an event to honor Joseph L. Chaves. Joe passed away in the spring. He was a long-term Kingston School Committee member and Silver Lake School Committee member. He was very active in the community, was a member of KEMA, a volunteer firefighter. He passed away suddenly at a very young age, and this is an evening to honor and to dedicate a memorial rock and a tree in his honor. Joe was very well respected in the community. His family has been very active in the community. As I mentioned, Joe has been very active on the school committees for both Kingston and Silver Lake, and also as part of KEMA and firefighters. So there's many members of town. Representative Coulter will be here, Elaine Fiore will be speaking, Chief Heath will be here, many school committee members will be speaking, as well as administration. It's actually a wonderful event because this is called the Silver Lake Integrated Preschool Playground. It's actually a Silver Lake program housed in Kingston. Joe was very active with both Silver Lake and Kingston, so it's a perfect place to recognize all of his efforts. Joe is a lifelong champion for children, and that's a theme you'll see going throughout this evening. The tree will be something that we'll watch grow. Joe is all about giving children every opportunity to grow and to prosper. The tree certainly memorializes that, and the rock is obviously a permanent structure because we will always remember all that Joe did for us and for the community. I think they'll realize how much Joe meant to all of us, that all of the time and effort that he put into the community is well recognized and will always be remembered.
United Way held a pep rally at the Kingston Collection to get everyone excited for their campaign. After the event, about 100 volunteers went out for a day of caring, which consisted of volunteers helping out projects throughout the Plymouth County.
When I say our United Way this is the 95th annual United Way kickoff and Day of Caring, where our United Way announces to the world that we're out there looking for donations in order to meet the community's most urgent needs for services. And that's for the elders, for the youth, substance abuse services, homeless services, all an array of needs out in our community. We also couple it with a Day of Caring, where we get our volunteers from the companies that support us to go out into the community to do community service projects. And we have about a dozen of those. We have over 100 volunteers going out, fanning out to the greater Plymouth area, the greater Brockton area. And it's just our way of saying it is about your donations, but it's also about your talents and the time that you spend in caring for the community. So that's what this is all about. We hope everybody joins in this year. We're really looking forward to a very successful United Way campaign. Well, I've been at United Way for over 10 years now, and I've been very blessed by all the people that you get to be involved with. And they're just some of the most compassionate, caring people, and they come from all walks of life, whether you're talking the CEO of the company, or the person who just got hired yesterday, or the volunteer who gives us a lot of hours to be on our board of directors, or is on our allocation panel, to volunteer to actually make the decisions, because the volunteers drive the show at the United Way. So I'm involved because we support volunteerism, we support charity and giving to the community. 1,000 reasons for me to really love being part of the United Way in Greater Plymouth County. The theme is easy this year. The theme is taking action in a United Way, and it works on a lot of different levels. A lot of it is, you see that movie rule deal where you're saying, let's take action, or action, roll the cameras. And we want people to know it's not about talking about all the problems in our community, because so many times we get overwhelmed when we hear of all the problems, but we don't get on our sneakers and roll up our sleeves and actually go and take action. So it's really all about taking action, and it's all about doing it together in a united way. Play on the words, obviously. So we're excited about that. We think United Way is the perfect vehicle for solving some of our community's problems. So that's why the theme is taking action in a united way.
So this morning is kind of a bit of a pep rally to get everyone excited for the campaign going on. And then after this event, we have about 100 volunteers going out for what we call a Day of Caring, which is a day of volunteer work in the community. Projects throughout Plymouth County. We have everything from helping out at a food pantry, to painting projects, to landscaping, really anything that our partner agencies would need. So we're very excited. I've been at the United Way now for about 4 years. So this is my 4th kickoff, which is awesome. And I think it's really great just to get this many people together in the community to be a part of a cause, something that matters, showing people really care about their local community and helping out. So it's really inspiring for me to come out here every year. I would just say thank you to all of our volunteers for coming out today. It means a great deal, makes a big difference, and we're very excited for our 95th year.
PCN headed up to the State House to get a report from the Plymouth 6th District. Representative Josh Cutler talks about water issues, recent funding, as well as ways that we can all be part of the conversation.
Hi, I'm Representative Josh Cutler, proud to represent Pembroke, Duxbury, and Hanson, and we're here on PACTV to talk about water issues. So, the old saying, water, water, everywhere, nary a drop to drink. Water issues are integrated into our daily lives here in Pembroke on the South Shore in many different ways, some for the good and others that we were having issues with. Obviously, we're in the middle of a major drought, so that has caused concern in a number of areas with terms of water access, water quality. As a legislator, my job is to try to advocate for our communities, trying to get resources down to our district. And one of the things I've worked on this past session with my colleagues is getting funding for cleaning up our ponds here in Pembroke and throughout the South Shore. We're able to get $50,000 in state funding to help clean up ponds right here in Pembroke. And in fact, those funds are now being used in Hobmock Pond, Oldham Pond, and Wampatuck Pond. So that's going to help with the issues that we see with blue-green algae, hydrilla, and some other issues that affect people's ability to enjoy the ponds, but also, to recreate and actually, affects the ecosystem and sort of the environment as a whole. So that's an important issue for our ponds here in Pembroke. One issue we've been having trouble with has been water management practices with in terms of the city of Brockton, which has rights to use Silver Lake here in Pembroke, which is largely in Pembroke. And that has in turn caused issues with some of the whole watershed system throughout Central Plymouth County Water District. Silver Lake, Westmont Ponset Pond, the Jones River. And we've been working with Brockton off and on for several years now, trying to get them to kind of change their practices with the way that they withdraw water from Silver Lake, because it's having a negative effect on Silver Lake itself and also Westmont Ponset Pond. So we've done a number of things, and some of them have worked, and we're still continuing to push our case. We've asked DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection, to step in and do what's called an administrative consent order to get Brockton to be what I would say more responsible with how they're managing their water. We're also hosting an event with Representative Tom Coulter, my neighbor over in Kingston. He's done terrific work on this issue, and we are co-hosting an event that's coming up on September 24th in Halifax at the boat ramp at 10 o'clock in the morning to bring everybody together to talk about this issue, get everybody up to speed on what's happened so far, because it's a complex issue. It's hard to talk about it in a short amount of time, and also have a forum for people to get their questions answered. And we hope also just to draw more attention to this issue and to help get those folks from Brockton to cooperate. And we know that they're good people there and they want to do the right thing. We just need to sort of figure out a way to work together to get this resolved in a way that's going to allow them to get their water, but also be respectful of our very valid concerns. So there's lots going on at the State House. Obviously, these water issues are really paramount to our lives here in the South Shore, and that's been a major focus. Lots more to talk about for our next segment, but happy to give an update on a couple of important water issues for PACTV. And live from the State House, it's Representative Josh Cutler.
Pet Health takes us to Duxbury Animal Hospital for information about pet allergies.
Hello, I'm Dr. Dan Heber from the Duxbury Animal Hospital, and today we're talking about allergic skin disease in dogs. This time of year when the weather's warmer is when a lot of these dogs start coming in for skin problems, and most owners think that it's actually due to the warm weather activity, so swimming in the bay, playing around with other dogs in the dirt and that kind of thing. But the reality is it's actually allergies, and it's the same allergies that cause problems in people. So things like tree pollens and grass pollens and weeds are causing problems with us when they get in our eyes and mouth and nose and stuff and cause inflammation. In dogs, they have oil glands instead of sweat glands, and that pollen and mold and stuff can get into the skin, and that inflammation makes them scratch. And it's the scratching that actually causes the infection. They're not picking up bacteria or yeast infections from anywhere. They're already covered in it. 5 minutes after we shower, we're covered in this same kind of bacteria. But if you scratch your arm for 15 minutes straight, you'll get a rash. And it's because you're now forcing that bacteria into the skin. So when these guys get their rashes and hot spots, it's because that they've been scratching because of these allergies. And the same is true for the ears. So unlike a person, a dog's ear is very long. Their canal is about 6 times the length, and it's just a long tube of skin. And when they start shaking their head, they cause these little micro tears, and the bacteria and yeast that's in there will start causing problems. So it's actually a preventable problem nowadays. In the old days, we had to put dogs on steroids and other expensive drugs that caused side effects, but there's a whole bunch of new medications that have come out in the last 3 years that are very effective. There's currently a pill right now that just blocks itch with virtually no side effects, and there's a new injection coming out in about 2 months that one injection will last anywhere from 3 weeks to 4 months, and will same thing, just block the itch, so we don't have the side effects like UTIs and liver problems and that kind of thing. It's fairly inexpensive. We've already started getting people on board with calling when their dogs first start scratching, depending on the season, and it's kept them out of the hospital. So dogs that we were seeing 3 or 4 times a year for horrendous ear and skin infections, theoretically we may never see again. So it's going to save clients a lot of money. We're going to have much happier dogs. So if your dog happens to be one of these dogs that gets itchy at certain times of year, every year, it is probably allergies, and make sure you give your vet a call and see if one of these new treatment options might be a good thing for them. Beyond that, thank you very much. Again, I'm Dr. Dan Heber at the Duxbury Animal Hospital, and thank you for watching PCN's Pet Health segments.
Town Talk today brings Pembroke's Town Administrator Ed Thorne to the set once again. Welcome, Ed.
Always a pleasure, Julie.
Always a pleasure to have Ed here. Okay, we're going to talk about a few things. Let's start with the solar project that was approved quite a while ago and then got put on hold, and now you're going to have a presentation Monday night. Talk about that.
We're really excited about it. Sun Edison has gotten their financial footing back on the right track, and they're ready now to go right ahead with the entire project, and they'll be presenting to the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board Monday night what the plans are for the project itself, and we're hoping to have everything up and running by May, and that'll be great for the town because we'll be receiving money for a land lease, payment in lieu of taxes, and we're going to be buying all the electricity that it generates, you know, for all the town buildings. So it's a great situation for us, and we're looking forward to it.
It's a win-win. So when you say they have their financial footing on track, there was a little problem with
Yeah, they were pretty much overextended financially all over the world. There's a huge organization.
And we're doing so many things, so many projects.
And so now they have a financial backer for our particular project, and now we can go forward with it, and we're excited.
Now, when you say it's going to be ready by May, does that mean all the plans will be done by May, or this will be,
we think
the solar panels are up in May?
It will be, they call it mechanically correct, whatever that means. And I'm
ready
thinking
to
it
rumble.
means they're ready to go.
Ready to rumble in May. That's terrific.
Absolutely.
Terrific. Wonderful. Wonderful news. Okay, we have a town meeting coming up.
Right.
Talk about that.
October the 18th at 7 o'clock at Pembroke High School. What we do at those at the fall town meeting is we usually balance the budget because we usually start the fiscal year a little out of whack because of the snow and ice deficit.
Right.
So that's always a big deal. We can't set a tax rate unless we have a balanced budget according to DOR. So that's the number one priority. We have about $800,000 worth of capital improvements
Equipment.
for police cruisers, fire trucks, building improvements, what have you. So we have all that in Article 1. Yep. We have the community preservation program where there's going to be 4 or 5 projects that'll be funded, ranging from phase 2 of the First Church windows to some recreational improvements out at the Matakeesis Street ball fields.
Okay.
So we have those, and in addition to a couple $100,000 that will go towards the purchase of the Benson property on the corners of Route 15 and Route 14 and 53.
Okay, right. Which people talked about. And there's something about a turf field?
Yeah, there's an article that was presented and pushed by the school committee for replacement of the artificial turf, which is at the high school. Those fields normally have a life expectancy of 10 to 12 years, and it's about 10 years old now. So that'll be some discussion as to replacing the field itself, probably through a debt exclusion vote. So that'll be something that'll generate a lot of discussion.
And that's the only thing for the schools?
Yes.
For this year? Okay. So that's October 18th at 7 o'clock at the high school.
At the high school.
Okay. And the last thing let's talk about, we haven't talked about in a long time, is the community center. Years ago, we had a lot of hearings and a lot of meetings and a lot of committees formed about the community center. Where does that project stand now, or does it?
Well, we being in the town and the school department, when Frank Hackett was superintendent, we had made a couple of presentations to the Recreation Commission about a joint project between the school and town regarding the renovation or the construction of a new community center. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that we need a new community center in that location. The previous committee was banking on the Y coming to the rescue.
Yeah.
That project was a little too big for the town, and it just didn't work out financially. So, but we need to dust off that plan and get back with the Recreation Commission and put together a financial game plan for the town to look at so that the town can actually make a decision on what they want to do with the building.
For once and for all. We need
we
to.
really haven't gotten out there with a formal vote.
No.
We've made presentations at town meetings, but we never really got the townspeople to vote on a particular project.
We all agree on where it should be and that it should be for everyone, but we have to get moving on this.
Yeah, we need to, it's a building that's used almost 24/7.
That's right.
And it's in a great location in town.
Yep.
It's one of the centerpieces of our community, and we really need to do something about it.
And we will, and we shall.
Absolutely.
Okay, because Pembrokians do things.
That's correct.
Thank you very much, Ed.
Thanks, Jewel.
And thank you for watching. Replay times can be found at our website, PACTV.org. PCN is on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube as well. We're back next week for more local stories as well as a new PCN Life episode. See you then.